Ame Israel Chai, Ame Israel Chai, Ame Israel Chai, Ame Israel Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Ame Israel Chai. Ame Israel Chai. Ame Israel Chai. Ame Israel Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Ame Israel Chai. Ame Israel Chai. Ame Israel Chai. Ame Israel Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai. Oh, Rabbeinu Chai.
And Jordan, they can only see us from the waist up. It's Zoom, right? Okay, good. Oh, good.
Okay, you ready for some Purim songs?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Yep.
Me too.
Chag Purim, Chag Gadol LaYehudim, Masechot Rashanim, Shirim Rikudim, Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Parashanim. Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Parashanim. Chag Purim, Ze'el Ze Solchim Manot, Machmadim, Mamtakim, Tunifim Migdanot. Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Parashanim. Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Havana Risha Rash Rash Rash, Parashanim. Hey, la 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 la. Hey, la 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 la. Havana Risha, Havana Risha, Havana Risha, Rash Rash Rash, Parashanim. Havana Risha, Rash Rash Rash, Havana Risha, Rash Rash Rash, Havana Risha, Rash Rash Rash, Parashanim. אני פורים, שמח ומבדח, הלא רק פעם בשנה אבוא להתארח. לה 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 לה. רבי פורים אמונה לי מדוע לא יכול פורים פעמיים בשבוע. לה 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 לה. La 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 la. Hedat Purim hakotov umsitayim, omiteinu b'Purim lechodesh lechotshayim. La 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 la. My name is Purim and I'm here for lots of fun and frolicking. Just once a year I visit you to cheer you with my singing. La 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 la. love your Purim drumming, and if we had our way, Purim, each month you would be coming. La 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 la. Hey, man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. He wanted everyone to bow. Oh, wow. He wanted everybody to serve. What a nerve! That big, big, big boss man from Shushan, the loudest big mouth in the land. Hey, man. Hey, hey, man. Hey, hey, man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. But Morty didn't know how to bow. Oh, wow. And Morty didn't know how to serve. What nerve! That big, big, big boss man from Shushan, the loudest big mouth in the land. Hey, man. Hey, hey, man. Hey, hey, man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, 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 man. Hey, hey, man. Hey, hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man, hey, man, hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man, hey, man. Hey, man, hey, man, hey, man, hey, man. All right, let's end it. Hey, man.
A little Baruch Hu?
Good time for Baruch Hu.
Okay.
I'm really glad, Tom, that we can be in our Zoom clothes.
They can
cameras
only
up.
see us from the waist up because it's Zoom.
Perfect.
It's perfect.
I'm so comfortable.
Yai la 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 yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Hamevorach the Shema.
It's the wrong key. I don't want that key. A little bit lower, please. It's okay. Shit. The last cantor was a baritone. Come on. We love you, Cantor David. A little higher, please. Ah. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'afta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta ba'am v'shiftecha beveitecha u'v'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shachbecha
Was it
ובקומך,
done or not?
וקשרתם להיות
Tell me when.
על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם
Bend down.
על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. You missed a spot, Tom. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, נהייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Sure. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Haman. Mordechai. Woo. Mi chamocha. We can't dance together tonight, but wherever you are, you can dance. Wherever you are, you can be alone with your family, with a friend. It doesn't matter. You can dance anywhere, anytime. Mi chamocha.
מי כמוך בנים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות, אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך בוקי הים, לפני משה ומרים, זני, אנו ויאמרו, אדוני מלוך, אלה עולם בוער, איי 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 איי
Fabulous. We can see you dancing and clapping, and we're in this together.
Thank you.
Aleinu, as we bring this part of the Purim service to a close, Aleinu is a prayer in which we give thanks for the chance to make a difference. Wherever you are, we invite you to stand or to rise in the place where Spirit rises in you.
What page is Aleinu? I must have a page for Aleinu.
30-something.
Even though I know it.
36. How's that? Try
thank
36.
you very much. It's about modesty. Okay.
Double chai.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים. לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Together we hope for a better world. V'ne'emar.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד. ושמו אחד.
Remembering the people we have loved who have died sometimes makes us laugh and sometimes makes us cry, and we have room for all of it. This Purim marks a milestone. We began this pandemic together exactly a year ago. And in this year, we have lost many, and we remember them. And we take a moment, those who remember, to call inside the names you remember, and we call in all of us the power to love, to laugh, to cry, and to remember. The Kaddish, if you have a prayer book, is on page 39, or you can recite it by heart. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. B'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mivarach le'olam ula'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha barichu. Le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Amen.
Wherever you are, we invite you to be seated, and we remember that deeper than everything, deeper than loss, deeper than sorrow, deeper than disappointment, deepest of all is joy. And Purim brings us, taps right into that joy.
It's Purim night, it's Purim night, and we're stuck at home. I'm sorry you're not here, but we're gonna tell our Megillah story while you all have some beers Rabbi Shira's buying. Oh yeah. I've got some folks who'd like to share an awesome epic tale, a story of courageous Jews who fought and went
No. Daniel. Shouldn't we let the spielers do the spieling?
I hate to admit, you're quite right, Maestro.
I'm always right, Daniel. You know that by now. You've been here for 7 months.
You're occasionally right, occasionally.
Oh, just get on with it. Come on, Daniel.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, the congregation Kol Ami Spielers proudly present the whole McGilligan.
Right back and enjoy this tale of Jewish gamesmanship.
With Zoom fatigue, we'll keep it short and do this charming shtick.
We'd love to do this live, of course, but listen, here's the deal. Our Purim story will be told in a 3-minute spiel. A 3-minute spiel. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Queen Vashti takes a stand against the drunken Persian king.
They get divorced and now, of course, they must find a new queen. They must find a new queen.
This lovely guy named Mordecai was righteous, wise, and brave. He raised his orphan cousin Esther. She was all the rage. She was all the rage.
She went in for the role of queen and booked it on the spot. A secret Jewish queen of Persia, who would have thought? No, really, who'd have thought?
La 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 la. La 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 la.
A sniveling little scoundrel was chief counsel to the king.
We dare not hear his name unless we want our ears to ring.
We don't want our ears to ring.
He ordered Mordecai to kneel before him in the street.
When Morty said get lost, he vowed all Jews would be dead meat.
He said we'd be dead meat.
La 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 la.
Lie, 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 lie.
His evil plans were set until Queen Esther dropped the mic. She risked her life to save her people.
Things worked out quite nice.
That evil jerk was iced.
So now you know the good parts of this ancient Shushan tale.
With Mordecai,
Queen Esther too.
King Ahasuerus and his stooge.
There's Elton John.
Next year, baby.
And look,
It's more of them. That's McGilligan's style.
Bravo, Spielers. Okay. Little Megillah action. Maybe the blessings to start.
A couple of brachot would be lovely.
Couple of brachot. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mikra Megillah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Amen.
In the beginning of the Megillah, we start with chapter 1, a supremely lavish 6-month celebration is underway in honor of King Achashverosh, having served drunkenly and slobberingly for 3 years. Now, you might say, as the great Rebbe Mel Brooks taught us, it's good to be the king. Well, not always. As the king makes a request of Queen Vashti to appear at the celebration and show off her beauty to the distinguished guests, Queen Vashti says, "Get lost, dude." The king's advisors recommend that Queen Vashti be replaced with a new queen. Who might that be? Here now to get us started with our Megillah reading, we have the wonderful Ellen Bittner chanting chapter 1, verses 1 through 3 of the book of Esther. Take it away, Ellen.
Vayehi b'mei Achashverosh, hu Achashverosh, hamolech mahodu v'ad kush, sheva v'yasrimu me'ah medina, bayamim hahem, keshevet hamelech Achashverosh, al kisei malchuto, asher B'Shushan Habira, Bishnat Shalosh L'Malcho, Asa Mishtei L'Chol Sarav V'Avadav, Chel Paras Umadai, Hapartamim, B'Sarei HaMedinot Lifanav.
Who was this Esther? The king was pretty annoyed with what Vashti had done, yet when he cooled off, the king's servants who attended him said, let's just get all the most beautiful girls in the country and we'll have a contest and you'll find someone who'll please your majesty. And let the maiden who does please your majesty, she can be queen instead of Vashti. So the proposal was a fine deal with the king, and he acted upon it. And among these women was a Jewish orphan named Esther, who was raised by her cousin, her uncle, her cousin. We're not really sure, but his name was Mordechai. And the king finds her very, very attractive and indeed pleasing, so he has Esther crowned to be his new king, his new queen. But Esther, right, she was a gender bender, one of the earlier gender benders in the Jewish world. Esther didn't let anybody know that she was Jewish. Mordechai had strongly advised her not to let anyone know about her real background. But let me tell you, her real name, her Jewish name, was Esther, not the American Jewish Volunteer Women's Organization founded in 1912, but Hadassah, the beautiful ancient name Hadassah, which means myrtle tree. So let's hear some of this from Cheryl Brady. Let's hear some of this in Hebrew.
Vatilakach Esther el hamelech Achashverosh el beit malchuto b'chodesh ha'asiri hu chodesh tevet bishnat sheva lemalchuto vaye'ahav hamelech et Esther mikol hanashim vatisachen v'chesed Lifanav mikol habitulot, vayasem keter malchut birosha, vayam licheha tachat Vashti, vayas hamelech mishte gadol, lechol sarav va'avadav,
et mishte Esther, v'hanacha lamidinot asaha, v'yiten mas et keyad hamelech, uvehikavetz betulot shenit, umordechai yoshev b'sha'ar hamelech, ein Esther. Mageret moladata ve'et ama, ka'asher tziva aleha Mordechai, ve'et ma'amar Mordechai Esther osaha, ka'asher hayata ve'omnaha ito.
Beautiful. Now, on your marks, get set, get your groggers, get your boxes of pasta, get your shakers, everything you've made to make a big noise. So we're making a big noise about the bad guy, but we're also making a big noise about standing up and being counted. We're going to do this all together. So when you hear, what's his name? When you hear his name, we make noise, but we'll know when to start because...
Go.
And then we're going to unmute. Unmute yourselves. Let's try it. Haman. I don't hear you.
Nice.
Perfect. Guys, you all stopped at the same moment. A Purim miracle. Fantastic. So we know what to do. When you hear what's his name, you unmute. Make noise. Keep going until Rabbi Tom turns the sign, and then magically we'll all stop. Are we ready? Anyway, I want to say, before I start reading, that this was Haman's complaint to the king. Guys, you got to be on your toes. Anyway, this was his complaint. There's a certain people in your kingdom, Haman said, who... They're different from everybody else. They don't have the same holidays. They don't have the same customs. And you'll be better off having a kingdom where everybody's the same. Do we want that? No way. We celebrate diversity. And so Purim is a holiday of diversity, not that everybody should be the same. Haman might have been right about it. As I was saying, he might have been right about us, but that's a good thing. It's good to celebrate difference. Here we go. This part is in Hebrew. I hope you're listening. Achad hadvarim ha'ele gidal hamelech Achashverosh et Haman.
Hear it.
Ben Hamdata ha'agagi vayanasehu vayasem et kiso me'al kol hasarim asher ito v'chol avdei hamelech asher b'sha'ar hamelech korim u'mishtachavim lehaman. Ki chen tziva lo hamelech u'Mordechai did not bow and did not bend the knee. Vayomru avdei hamelech asher b'sha'ar hamelech leMordechai. Why do you not follow the king's command? Vayehi ba'omram elav yom vayom velo shama alehem vayagidu lehaman.
There we go. Amen.
Lir'ot hayamdu divrei Mordechai, ki higid lahem asher hu Yehudi. For Mordechai told them he would not bow down because he was a Jew. Vayad Haman, ki... Ki ein Mordechai korea umishtachaveh lo vayimale Haman.
Haman.
Haman. So Mordechai sent a message to Esther. Times are terrible. We're in trouble. And Esther at first said, I can't do anything. I can't do anything because if I step out of this palace, if I appear before the king uninvited, it could cost me my life. And Mordechai said to Esther, just because you're in the palace doesn't mean this won't affect you. And who knows, you might be in this place at this time for a reason. The Purim story is filled with masquerade. And most hidden of all in the story is God. And in Hebrew, there's a word for God's hiddenness. The word is Hester. So the book is whispering to us in a time of Hester, if you feel like God is absent, be Esther. Don't give up. Stand up and speak up. Hiding behind all the silliness and the craziness that we love is a story of courage. There are so many acts of courage in the Megillah. Vashti, who dared to say no to violence against women. Esther, when she musters the courage to speak up, even at the risk of her life. The Purim story is a tale of villains and heroes. It is our Purim custom to drown out the name of the villain. To whir our groggers, to boo and yell and stamp. What fun, I love it. But what about the heroes? Heroes often work quietly. Courage is often quiet. It often goes unnoticed. In the Purim bag some of you picked up yesterday is a white rose. We invite you to raise and wave your white rose or applaud anytime you notice an act of courage in this story. But why do we pick a white rose? Not so many years ago, during World War II, a small group of university students at the University of Munich in Germany were appalled at the rise of the Nazi government. They started a campaign of writing leaflets calling for active opposition to the Nazis. At the risk of their own lives, they began to publish and distribute these leaflets, condemning the horrific and hateful policies of the Third Reich. They called themselves the White Rose. In total, the White Rose authored 6 leaflets, which were multiplied and spread in a total of more than 15,000 copies. They denounced the Nazis' regimes. They called for resistance. They openly denounced the persecution and mass murder of the Jews. They spoke up. Their activities began on the 27th of June, 1942, and ended with the arrest of their core group on the 18th of February, 1943. The leaders were executed by guillotine 4 days later. The sources I consulted ended with this statement: today, the White Rose is well known, both within Germany and worldwide. But that's not true. We focus more on the haters, and we have forgotten the heroes. Tonight, we have an advantage granted us by Zoom. Please take a moment and think about heroes, past and present. Leaders, elected officials, researchers, scientists, doctors and nurses and healthcare providers, maybe heroes from the past, from our American story that you've just learned about. suffragists, civil rights pioneers and champions. Maybe a hero you're thinking about is a friend or a neighbor. Please take a moment and write into the chat some of the people you are thinking about. We'll take a few moments. You can talk among the people at home. Think of some of those heroes and write them into the chat so that we can all see the names and appreciate the quiet courage of heroes.
Lots of heroes. Just got this message from the master control room that we're about to have some type of announcement from Barak Stockler, who it's entitled, I'm not sure what it's about, I think it's a critique of our sermons. It's called Less is More. Barak?
Thank you, Rabbi Tom. The Religious Action Center, or RAC, is the reform movement's advocacy arm throughout the nation. Locally, here in New York State, the RAC has started to put its weight behind a new bill called Less is More. Kol Ami, along with the many synagogues across New York State, are now joining together to support the broad coalition of groups, nonprofits, and legislators to get behind the Less is More bill, and we need your help. The goal of the Less is More bill is to stop sending people back to jail while on parole for technical violations. Small things like violating curfew, changing your job, leaving an assigned geographic area, and more. The point of this bill is to keep families together and prevent people from going back to jail for these small incidents. Looking deeper at incarceration here in New York, this bill is also one of the many puzzle pieces in the fight for racial justice. Black people are incarcerated for technical violations at 12 times the rate of white people in New York City and 5 times the rate across New York State prisons. The proportion of people who ended their parole term by being incarcerated for a technical violation without a new conviction in New York State is almost double the national average. These disparities should not be mentioned without the clear reminder that Black people disproportionately make up New York State's incarcerated population to begin with. This bill is designed to stop the revolving door of our prisons, to incentivize good behavior and reward those who follow the rules. Not to mention, it would save New York over $600 million. Similar bills have already been passed in 24 other states nationwide. Please join Kol Ami, the Religious Action Center, and all the great organizations behind this bill to help advance the fight for racial justice. So, I have one ask for you today, all right? I want you to sign up for the Religious Action Center's kickoff rally on March 1st at 5:30 p.m. It's going to be a 30-minute virtual rally where you will learn more about Less is More and how we are going to join the fight, including virtual lobbying opportunities, letter writing, and email and phone call campaigns. The link to sign up for this should now be in the Zoom chat. If you want to find out more about the Less is More bill, you can also go to lessismoreny.org. That link is also in the chat. Thank you all, and Chag Sameach.
Perfect. I'm going to be there Monday at 5:30, and I hope to see you. Mordechai had this message delivered to Esther. Do not imagine that you, of all the Jews, will escape with your life by being in the king's palace. If you keep silent in the face of this crisis, relief and deliverance will come to the Jews from another place, while you and your father's house will perish, and who knows, perhaps you have attained to royal position for just such a crisis. Then Esther sent back this answer to Mordecai, go, assemble all the Jews who live in Shushan and fast in my behalf for 3 days, night and day. Then I shall go to the king, though it's contrary to the law, and if I am to perish, I will perish.
She had a plan. Esther went to the king and said, if it please your majesty, let your majesty and Haman come to my place for a little feast. The king commanded, good idea, tell Haman to hurry and do Esther's bidding. So the king and Haman came to the feast that Esther prepared. And at the wine feast, the king asked Esther, my dear, what is it you wish? It shall be given to you, anything you want, even half of my kingdom. And Esther said, my wish, my request is let your majesty and Haman come to the feast. Let both of you gentlemen come to the feast that I will prepare for you, and tomorrow I'll tell you my request. Meanwhile, Haman he's bragging to everybody he knows how he and the king are so close. They're buddies. He gets promotions. He gets to do cool stuff. Meanwhile, this guy, Haman, being a bit of a dirtbag, what that dirtbag did is he commanded his people to put up a tall pole with a point at the top on his property. And it was there for Mordecai. Later that night, the king couldn't sleep very well, so he took out his diary, which was kind of this cute little pink diary, you know, the kind with flowers on it, kind of 70s looking, and had the little lock with the key that didn't really work. But he opened up his diary, and he came upon the part about Mordecai, who a while ago had saved his life by revealing a plot. So next day, Haman came by the palace. And the king asked him, he said, what should be done for a man whom the king desires to honor? And Haman said to himself, he said to himself, who would the king want to honor more than me? The guy was not too bright. And he said, you know, for the man whom the king, your majesty, would like to honor, I'd say first get him a robe like one of those ermine ones, you know, like yours. Then you might want to give him a royal horse, you know, kind of like yours. And then you could give him a crown, you know, kind of like yours, and let him go through the city and have it announced, this is the man that the king wants to put in charge of everybody and everything important, and the king honors him more than anybody else. Quick then, the king said to Haman. The horse, the crown, the robe thing, and give it all to Mordecai the Jew. Haman was not too pleased. So Mordecai got to do all of that really cool stuff, and meanwhile, someone was furious, and that someone was Haman. So, the very next day, the king and Haman came to the queen's private apartments for this little feast. And on the second day, the king asked Esther again. He said, "So what is your wish, my dear Esther? It shall be granted you, even to half of my kingdom." And Esther said, "If your majesty would be so kind as to do me this favor, if it pleases your majesty, let my life be granted me as my wish. Please save me and my people. That is my request. Because my people have been sold out because we're going to be destroyed, massacred, and exterminated." And the king was all rather upset. This was all a big surprise to him. And he said of Esther, "Who is this? Who is it that dared to make such a plan?" And Esther said, I think in ancient Persian, she said, "The adversary and the enemy, this SOB," that was the Persian part, "is the evil Haman." And Haman cringed in terror. And the king, being furious, he stomped out of the room, leaving Esther alone with Haman. And if any of you, as we all have, has ever found yourselves cringing and begging and pleading for your life from someone scary, you know how you kind of get down on your knees and you wrap your arms around their legs and you're begging and pleading and acting all kind of crazy? Well, that's just what Haman did to Esther. And guess what? That's just when the king walked back into the room, and what does he see but this guy all over his wife, wrapping himself around Queen Esther, and he is furious with Haman. Haman. And the king said, "Oh my, first you want to kill my wife and her people, and now you're sexually assaulting her." No sooner did these words leave the king's lips when an entirely red face appeared on Haman. And one of the eunuchs who was around, as we all keep eunuchs around, said, "You know, there's more at stake. There's this big, tall, 50-foot stake that Haman put outside of his house, 50 cubits high." This eunuch said he was going to use it for Mordecai. "Perhaps your majesty would like to use that tall pole with the point on top for Haman." they impaled Haman. The king found justice. Mordecai and Esther were very relieved. We're going to hear a little bit of this from Cheryl.
Vayomer Hamelech Achashverosh, Vayomer leEsther Hamalkah, Mihu zeh ve'ezehu, Asher mila'o libo, La'asot kein, Vatomer Esther, Ish tsar ve'oyev, Haman. Hara hazeh ve'haman. Nivahat milifnei hamelech v'hamalkah v'hamelech kam b'chamato mimishtei hayayin el ginahat habitan v'haman. Hamahad levakesh al nafsho me'ester hamalkah ki ra'aha ki chalta elav hara'aha me'et hamelech.
May I have just one of those? One H thing. Just one, only one. Okay. Well, so Esther, revealing her true identity to the king, points out that she and her people are about to be killed and points to this guy as the mastermind behind all this awfulness. And the king gets rid of Haman. And I'm going to be nice now. With him out of the picture, and Mordecai named as the new prime minister to replace him, tragedy averted. The Jews celebrate. So let's sum up and pay very close attention. They tried to kill us. We won. Let's eat. And speaking of food, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Mazon, this amazing not-for-profit food delivery service for the homeless and all those in need. We must end hunger. It is of vital importance. And Jordan is going to put up a link right now, and we hope that you'll check out this amazing organization and consider lending your support and making a Purim gift for those who need it.
You can also save that link for later. As we round to the end of the story, the words that come at the end of the Megillah are also words we use every Saturday night at Havdalah. LaYehudim hayta ora v'simcha v'sason v'ikar. The city of Shushan rang with joyous cries as Jews enjoyed light and gladness, happiness and honor. And in every province and in every city where the king's command and decree arrived, there was gladness and joy, a feast and a holiday. ליהודים הייתה אורה ושמחה וששון ויקר, ובכל מדינה ומדינה ובכל עיר ועיר מקום אשר דבר המלך ודתו מגיע. שמחה וששון ליהודים משתה ויום טוב.
חג פורים שמח, לי 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 Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Oh, Rabbeinu Chai, Oh, Rabbeinu Chai, oh, Rabbeinu Chai, oh, Rabbeinu Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, oh, Rabbeinu Chai, oh, Rabbeinu Chai, oh, Rabbeinu Chai, oh, Rabbeinu Chai.
What, Mom? No, it's not underwear. It's my workout clothes. Oh, sorry.
Chag Sameach, Chag Purim Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Purim Sameach.
Chag Purim Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Thank you.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Everybody.
I don't want to go.
Chag Sameach.
Still gotta make it on.
Okay, we get some.
That's it,
We
that's
come back at
the end of
8:30. No, it's not.
Okay, it's not the end of the,
Just X out. Leave.
I am.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach to you too.
Chag Sameach.
Chag
Sameach. Chag Sameach. I was seeing everybody. It's so nice.
Next year in the sanctuary.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Oh,
Bob.
bye.
That's all of our wishes, right?
And listen,
Yes,
And
it
then we
is,
can- and
Barbara.
then we
We're
can hug
trying.
e- Then we
Where
can
are
hug
you,
each
Hank?
other. Then
There
we
you
can
are.
hug each other, hopefully.
Hey, Ronnie.
Right?
Hi.
Ronnie has the baby.
The baby is delicious.
Oh my goodness.
Don't eat the baby.
Really? Oh.
That was it for?
Oh,
Hello,
she's an
Bert and
old
Patty.
baby. What is she, a month
Where's
now,
Bert and
Ronnie?
Patty? Where are you? Oh,
You're-
there you are.
You're muted, Bert and Patty, so we can't hear you.
Unmute.
Let's stay.
Oh, that'll take Bert a while. There we go.
There you go.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Bert. Hi, Patty.
Hi, Bert. Hi, Patty.
Hi, Bert and
Hi,
Patty.
Patty.
Good work.
See you all at 8:30.
Mhm.
Really nice.
Hi, Eric.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Hi, Jane.
Bye. Good to see everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Good
Hag
job,
Sameach.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Here's my leave.
Leave me.